Shoebridge.
Mr Deputy President, with gun ownership steadily on the rise in Australia and more pro-gun MPs in our state and federal parliaments, we decided it was time to take a trip to the land of the free and the home of the gun. And at the end of last year, I visited the United States to discuss gun control policies, compare our gun lobbies and see firsthand what it might mean, all under a Trump administration. The trip went across the country. Everywhere we went, people identified Australia's National Firearms Agreement as the rolled gold model for gun control. As America deals with one shooting tragedy after another, they look to Australia as the country that seems to have figured it out. We haven't had a single mass shooting since Port Arthur and the NFA, but in 2016 alone, America had 58,156 incidents of gun violence, 15,051 gun deaths, and 385 mass shootings. That's more than one mass shooting on average every day in that place. These are depressing statistics, but on our trip we found that there's hope. Advocates aren't backing away from the cause, and even in the face of a Trump presidency, people across America are striving for evidence-based gun laws that reduce violence. On our first stop in Texas, we met with Dan Hammermesh, who isn't your typical campaigner for gun control, but rather an economics professor who doesn't much like the prospect of teaching in a classroom where students are allowed to bring in their guns. He's given notice to resign as a result of the recent law that let those guns on UT campus. Jo Neuberger is sticking around to continue her inspiring work with UT Gun Free. Bizarrely, it is now illegal to carry a sex toy on the University of Texas campus, but it's okay to carry a loaded Glock. And then there's Texas Gun Sense, with Andrea Brower focusing on common sense policies to reduce gun violence while working to hold back plans for what the gun lobby calls constitutional carry. In Denver, we saw public health professionals, trauma specialists, firearm safety trainers and gun shop owners working together to implement suicide prevention strategies. Colorado ranks 7th in the US on national suicide rates and suicide in that state makes up 78% of all gun deaths. That's why Dr. Emmy Betts at the University of Colorado Emergency Department and the Department of Health's Office of Suicide Prevention are focused squarely on firearms. We also saw how brave gun violence prevention advocates are. After losing his son at Columbine, Tom Mauser has been working tirelessly to advocate for more sensible laws. I want to tell Tom here and now how much I appreciated his generosity in meeting with me and his courage, his absolute courage in speaking in that state about his son Daniel. Tom, together with Elaine McCarran from Colorado Ceasefire, saw their hard work pay off with a suite of laws passed in 2013 in the wake of the Aurora movie theatre shooting, one of the many massacres there. But doing the right thing on reducing gun violence in the US can come at a real political cost. And we saw this with the principled decision by John Morse to support those laws in the Colorado Senate. And he was recalled as a result of that. We could all do with more politicians with the bravery of John Morse. In Baltimore, Boston, Washington and New York, we saw where so much of the brain work was being done. The path has largely been paved by Josh Horowitz from the Coalition to Stop Gun Violence. Groups such as the Joyce Foundation, Americans for Responsible Solutions and the Law Centre to Prevent Gun Violence, as well as Everytown for Gun Safety, are leading the national debate on sensible reforms. And we're privileged to attend their National Gun Violence Prevention Coalition annual meeting. And then there's Professors Stephen Terrett and Shelley Greenberg, who are exploring how public health and policing intersect. And they're doing that at Johns Hopkins University and researching smart gun technology as a way of potentially reducing firearms violence. Professor Hemingway from Harvard University is, of course, the go-to brains trust on private guns, public health and sensible solutions for reducing gun violence. But as important as the brains are to the gun violence prevention movement, so's the heart. And you can look no further than Poe Murray and the Newtown community, who are still coming to grips with the fact that on December 14, 2012, 20 school children and 6 teachers were killed at Sandy Hook Elementary School. And every year, Poe brings the Newtown community together with families and victims from across the country, from all walks of life, for the National Vigil for all victims of gun violence. That vigil was incredibly moving, and I was truly privileged to be there. I want to end on a note of hope. While the US Congress is in deadlock, grassroots campaigners have delivered smarter and tougher gun laws in states from California to Pennsylvania. That includes innovative gun violence prevention orders that fill gaps that are present even in our gun control laws. We have a responsibility to do that as well in Australia. And with so much violence and so much pain in the United States, there was one consistent call we received wherever we went. Australia, please stay strong on gun laws.
The Honourable